Portuguese translation available. So if you go to the interpretation icon down there, you should be able to access the interpretation. And we are also streaming live on SALC Facebook page. So hi to everyone who's joining us from Facebook. If you have questions, comments, please do raise your hand. We will have a segment later to allow for that. And if you feel like you may lose your thought, you can always type your questions in the comment box, in the chat box. But also, yeah, just feel free to engage with us also and introduce yourself in the chat box, which country you're from, which organization you're from, or if you are. Yeah, and I'll quickly just hand it over to my colleague Anna Chalmers to help in setting the tone and welcoming everyone. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Bradley. Yeah, thank you so much for being able to join us on this webinar, where we focus on litigation and acknowledge the commitment of people who have gone through litigation or are going through it now. Over the years, we've been able to kind of bring activists together and talk about their contributions into access to justice and bond and share notes, share experiences, and just have a space where you kind of feel like you are not alone, you have a support system. But with the current situation where resources have shrunk, but the problems have heightened, access to justice has become really difficult because the resources aren't there. But the difficulties have even worsened, where activists get arrested, where there are delays in courts, where the justice system has been infiltrated, whether it's anti-gender or the general poor governance in our countries. So the challenges that litigants, people who go through litigation, the challenges have become bigger and insurmountable in a way. So we thought, we need to continue those engagements, those conversations around, how do we cope? How do we survive litigation in the environment that's like this, where human rights, democracy are at the lowest? How do we create a space where people who have gone through litigation, one or not one, can share those experiences that can possibly take us through these very difficult times. So this is why we are here, and thank you so much for people who have agreed to be a part of this. Hopefully in the next few weeks or so, we'll be able to engage civil society to talk about how do we support individuals who move the needle in terms of law reform, in terms of access to justice. How does civil society do that? But also look at other strategic litigation cases that, have been ongoing related to either the environment, climate change, and many more litigation issues that probably the challenges are either different or the same. So thank you so much for coming. That's it, Bradley.
Thank you very much, Chalmers. And yeah, you're right. it's really about also how do we continue to access justice in our different contexts. So without wasting any time, I will bring in. I'll not bring in. I'll ask our first discussant, Danny Dehashu. Danny is Daniel. He normally goes by Danny. So Danny is a human rights activist with experience in litigation, where he also was a litigant in a Supreme Court case that challenged the validity of foreign same-sex marriages between Namibian citizens and their foreign same-sex spouses concluded outside of the borders of Namibia. His advocacy and activism extends beyond LGBTIQ equality rights to include mental health and broader human rights. Danny is currently pursuing his undergraduate studies in psychology and counseling and works as a project officer for the Southern Africa Litigation Center. Welcome, Danny. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry, my apologies. I think your cases has been one of the landmark cases that we've seen across the region. In just roughly about 10 minutes, right? About I'll give you the space to also share your experiences. But if you could also within that just start off by just briefly giving us a background of your case, what it was about, which country did it take in, and giving an estimate idea of the duration of how long it took for your case to be concluded, and then sharing with us, the your focus on how did you navigate litigation in the absence of a clear strategy, and just sharing your experiences on how going into litigation without prior preparations or knowledge, and how that process was and how you found community, and so forth. I know it's a mouthful, but you have about 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Danny.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bradley, and Mercy, for the warm welcome. Thank you for the invitation to be part of the panelist with the esteemed other panelists as well, who I think have like really lengthy experience in the space of civil society. I hope I'm audible enough. If you hear noises around, please try and ignore that. I'll live like partially on a farm. So my name is Daniel Dehashu. I'm with the Southern Africa Litigation Center based in Namibia. Sorry, Bradley, I've got like feedback on my mic. I'm just gonna turn off something here. Okay. I think I'm hearing the interpretation in the back, but I'll try and ignore that and push on. Okay. So I represent the case that was mainly known as the Dehashu versus the government of Namibia and others, that was heard in consolidation with the other matter, which is the Zaila Lilies versus the government of Namibia and others as well. In terms of the duration, this case started in 2017 in the High Court and ended in 2023 in the Supreme Court of Namibia. So it was a lengthy 6 years litigation. So when the case started initially, it wasn't like a strategy or anything. I like that you asked that, how did I go forward without any solid strategy with the case? So this was a case of a family that was asking literally for a work permit for one of the spouses, and then it ended up in the Supreme Court asking for immigration status. When we started, we didn't have any community or any knowledge of civil society and human rights broadly. There's such a reverb on my side. Okay. I would like to ask like people with mics maybe to mute, except for the interpreter, because I'm getting my voice back immediately. Okay. Okay, I'll just carry on and continue. So when we started with the court case, the Dikhashi versus Government of Namibia, initially we were asking for a work permit for myself. I am the foreign spouse of a Namibian partner. Uh, I was in no contact with any civil society. So when we started the case, there was no strategy, there was no things like community engagement or engaging partners and anything like that, simply because we just had no knowledge of it. When we took the matter to the court, we felt pressured to take the matter to the court because of the response from the Office of the Home Affairs that kept just rejecting the work permit. Ultimately, in the court, the arguments were arguing for spousal rights or spousal visa in Namibia for both for me and the other case in the Zaila Lilis. But to say that we knew what we were doing would be lying. We had no idea what we were getting into. We thought this was a case of a family fighting for their rights. Little did we know that there is a much bigger community who are going to directly feel the impact of this case. So we didn't know, we couldn't even anticipate the outcome of the case or the backlash that followed. That I will touch on when I go forward. We had to as soon as we had filed the heads, then the news broke. And that was another turmoil that we had to face, that we were not ready for, that we did not prepare for. Immediately after that, we had to look for community to say, guys, because we were facing like a lot of backlash and hate speech, especially coming from platforms such as Facebook. And so we asked some contacts who can connect us with civil society. Some of the media people were friendly, so we would ask them if they knew any organizations that would take interest in our case and maybe come and support us, because responding to backlash from a civil society point of view is one thing, but from someone who is just a general public who has never been in civil society, who doesn't know how to respond to there's thousands and thousands of negative commentary, is a complete different animal. So we realized soon after the first day in court that we're gonna need to find people who are well versed in matters such as this, people who know what they're doing, people who have been in the movement. Back then, we didn't even know like what movement is what. We just wanted people who knew how to deal with human rights matters. So we did reach out to a few civil society organizations. Of course, we didn't know what their mandates were. We just knew that these are civil society organizations, and we reached out to a few of them. We hit brick walls a lot of times. We hit backlash from all sides, just given the magnitude of the court case. And I mean, I'm not blaming anybody. I think it might have come across as us going forward with something that affects everyone, but without, of course, our knowledge at the time that it would actually affect everyone. But we eventually did find, solace in little groups. We made friends along the way. We made friends with people who would become allies. We connected with civil societies such as Positive Vibes, and back then Outright Namibia as well. So we started building little blocks of support with the case. And during litigation as well is when we got in touch with SALC through Positive Vibes as well. I think that's where the importance of having connected with civil society was clear. PV connected us with SALC, who would then come on board to offer us legal, financial, and technical support in the case, where before we would we would be cornered outside the court to give statements. Reporters were there with cameras and microphones, and you would feel so much pressure. And I remember we had our child as well outside the court, one of the first few appearances where he was shoved with a mic outside the court and he was forced to comment on his parents' matter. And he was at the time, I think 8, if I'm not mistaken, 8 to 9. And you could see this. There was a clip on Facebook. You could see this child just really stumbling to know what was happening. Luckily, there was a lady who was there to save him and all that. But basically, what I'm saying is, without the support of civil society, without the strategy, you then don't know how to respond to simple things like the media. So it was very helpful to build connections with SALC, because then when they came on board, they could support with a much structured comms strategy, like what to say and provide the facts of the case. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer, so I didn't know the facts actually of the matter. I just knew why I was in court. And of course, that would contradict with the arguments that was argued in court by the lawyers. And because we went just we found lawyers who were interested in the case. They were not particularly from civil society space. So a lot of the strategy and the arguments and all those, we really didn't know the details that went into the case in technical terms, actually. So the relationship with SALC then helped with that technicality to sort of water down this legal jargon to make us as the litigants understand the merits of our case in a language that made sense to us at the time. So that was one strategy I think to take away is like find your people, find the community, find the civil society, find support outside of your family, because you will need a lot of support outside just the immediate circle that you have, and do have like a com strategy was very, very important to me. I think I was very distrusting, even when we had community come closer to us. I was very distrusting of having someone go out there to tell my story on my behalf, because previously, before we had the community, then the papers would run with whatever they had at hand or whatever we would have said without having the advice from or polishing from civil society side. So I always wanted to tell my own story based on that, just the lack of trust of someone just running with the story, and you hear on the television or on the radio, and you thinking to yourself, but that's not my story, that's not what I was asking for. So a com strategy is very important, but also building a community is also very important. I am cognizant of the time, so I'm going to touch a little bit also on the issue of mental health as well. I think people who are thinking of going to court, we really do undermine um, the the mental impact that litigation can have on you. There's a big financial burden that comes with litigation, but a lot of the things do boil down to your mental well-being, be it finances, be it the online hate, be it the people who are not understanding your story, be it everything just boils down to how you feel at the end of the day, your mental state. And that was a big it was a big stumbling block for me. I always thought I'm really, really mentally and emotionally a strong human being. Um, that was until I went through litigation. It takes so much out of you. You can't believe it. It takes you can have skills, but once you start with this journey, you will be surprised. You would think you have no skills, you have no coping strategies. You are really, it makes you feel really weak. So uh, you know, things like I went into therapy, um, but very reluctantly as well, because like I said, I truly believed I can, I'm fighting for my family. I can do this. I'm gonna get out of this unscathed. But I had to really find therapy, find activities that make me forget. I got into horses. I went back to my music. I went into therapy, like talk therapy. And as a mental health advocate, you would think therapy would be the first thing that I'm thinking, oh, let's do this. But truly, it's truly not. I do not enjoy talk therapy. I enjoy much more the activities that one would get from talk therapy. So protecting your mental well-being would be for me number one on if you are considering litigation, really think about how you're going to feel because without this heavy stress, you don't know what you are susceptible to. You could be susceptible to mental disorders. This could bring a new can of worms that you might not be able to handle. So taking care of your mental health is it. I'm gonna move over to um I'll give you a second to say something, Brad. I think you want to tell me the time.
Yes, you're right. 10 minutes is up.
Okay,
Um,
1 minute wrap up.
I will give you 1 minute to wrap up.
To wrap
Yes.
up. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Bradley. I wasn't aware that 10 minutes would go so quickly. Okay, cool. I'm moving right over to post litigation. So my case was concluded in 2023, where the Supreme Court of Namibia um, sort of ruled in our favor. I'm saying sort of very carefully here because it was a very narrow ruling that only allowed us to be in the country just we won literally just for immigration purposes, nothing else. It doesn't go broader to cover all the other rights and everything. But I will just say winning did not mean that magically everything is okay, everything's la di da. We are right now in 2026, and I can tell you right now that that ruling to immigration officers and police officers at checkpoints sometimes they still do give you a lot of problems. We've had to write to their ministry, SALC, to ask them to respect the ruling because of the challenges that I was facing when I was coming into the country. Right now, I mean, given the socio-political issues around the world, really, I think immigration issues are so sensitive that even at checkpoints, even with the correct immigration status on my passport, I still get asked like really hectic questions, and I still have to provide. I have to drive with my judgment, all the papers that were served to the Home Affairs, the directive from the Home Affairs, everything. So it doesn't change overnight. I think it's still a journey that I think, Bradley, you can agree with, that we're working towards making this a full a win actually. Because at the moment it's better and it's great that you won the court case, but it follows you everywhere. So you have to have ways to handle also post litigation, how you're going to handle things like resistance, backlash. We had Parliament introduce a bill to counter the ruling that was given in our Supreme Court case. How do you counter that? How do you manage the politics, the political landscape is like explosive at the moment. And I'm not talking only in Namibia, I think all over the world. And Southern Africa has been seeing this increased resistance to human rights, especially LGBT rights in the region. So I don't want to eat any more of time, knowing that we have other speakers following. But I will end. I wanted to end with the one quote from the ruling, and it said, this was from the High Court that we didn't win, that was dismissed before the appeal. It said, in a functioning democracy founded on a history such as our own, coming from a system of unreasonable and irrational discrimination, to obtain freedom and independence, and then to continue to irrationally and unjustifiably take away human rights of another segment of Namibian citizenry simply because of their orientation, amounted to cherry picking of human rights and deciding whose rights are more human and to be protected more than others. This is not what our democracy was founded upon. I submit.
We submit. Thank you, Danny. And I think you just to summarize from the context of Namibia on what you've said based on your experience is that indeed there is a need for support. You know, if you have support, it goes a really, really long way. You're able to make connections with human rights, with activists, with organizations, which eventually led you and your family basically to access resources, to access support, to develop strategies, especially on how to engage with the media, also resulting in how to protect your family and how to safeguard your son, right, from the media out there. And it's important also to control the narrative, you know, to tell your own story as opposed to having other people write your stories for you. So that's also where the com strategy comes in, and it's very important also to have a form of survival mode methods that one can go to when you're stressed, when you're sad, you know, when you feel emotionally overwhelmed, and importantly, not to cherry pick human rights and who gets to enjoy them. Thank you so much, Danny, for your experience. I think when we have more time, we can also more unpack more on the threats, emerging threats in Namibia. Now jumping over to Namibia's neighbor, Botswana, we will welcome Unkokame Musweu, Mr. O, who is a human rights activist, sustainability practitioner, and a thought leader with extensive experience advancing equality, social justice, and inclusion across Southern and Eastern Africa. He was one of the litigants in the landmark Tutoramogwe and others versus the government of Botswana case, commonly known as Register Lachabibo, which paved the way for the legal registration of Lachabibo, a historic milestone for LGBTIQ rights in Botswana. Mr. O previously served as the advocacy manager at Lachabibo, regional capacity strengthening officer at the African Sex Workers Alliance, and held senior program leadership roles with Men for Health and Gender Justice in Botswana. And until February 2026, he served as a National Gender Commissioner in Botswana. He's also a published writer on the intersection of religion, culture, human rights, and sexuality. Unkokame brings deep expertise in working with diverse minority communities. He currently works in South Africa's mining sector, leading initiatives focused on sustainability, social impact, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, where he continues to champion inclusive development and responsible business practices. Welcome, Mr. O. Um, I don't know if it's too late to still saying Mahal Mosha, but I think in this regard we can still say it. Welcome. And I think just to jump it off, we'll give you 10 minutes as well to also just briefly give a brief background on the case that you were a part of, how long the duration was, and using the experience of a litigant, sharing your lived experiences on what happens during pre-court, during the court process, post-court processes, and the realities that litigants in Botswana face, and just reflecting on how you have navigated life, the advocacy, the public visibility, following the judgment, and also sharing just key practical lessons and recommendations for future litigants and organizations that support litigation. Over to you, Mr. O.
Great. Thank you very much, Bradley. I hope I'm audible. And good
Yes.
morning to everybody on the call. I am really glad that we're having this call and this platform to engage about litigation and the true cost of litigation. And I'm particularly interested or happy because just during the Pride month of Pride, there were a lot of conversations of what does pride mean and what does it look like. And for countries such as Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, where we've had certain progressive rulings, the conversation around the world and I think around Africa is that we are the envy of many people. To say, I want to be like Botswana, I want to be like South Africa, I want to be like Namibia. And so the expectation is that we should celebrate. The expectation is that there should be a lot to celebrate. And I think on the outer look of things, it is there is a lot to celebrate, but I think the ones who sit with it, having went through the process of litigation in whichever form and way it looked like, a lot of us still ask, what is it that we ought to be celebrating, right? So I think there's an important conversation. So thank you, Bradley and Salk for this conversation. So I was a litigant in the Tutora Moge and others versus the Attorney Generals of Botswana, a case that was, a lot of us know as the Lekhabibo registration case that took place from, the case took many, many years, but more specifically to this where I was a litigant. The case started in February of 2012 and ended in 2016 in the Court of Appeal or with a Court of Appeal ruling. The government of Botswana had been for many years refusing to register Lekhabibo, citing it to not being, its rules or objectives not being aligned with national rules and all these things. But in 2012, we regathered and presented ourselves before court, asking for the court to allow for the registration of Lekhabibo, essentially to recognize Lekhabibo as a legal entity and to recognize queer people in Botswana as ordinary citizens of Botswana who had the right to freedom of association and to engage together about things that affected them. And in 2014, the court ruled that the refusal to register the Habibo was unconstitutional and that it violated the rights to express, the right to assemble, the right to associate as LGBTI persons in Botswana and allies or any person who's aligned to the objectives and interests of the organization. So we got our first ruling, positive ruling in 2014, but that was not it. As we would know, the government of Botswana then took this decision to the Court of Appeal that we shouldn't have been given that go ahead to register. And in 2016, the Botswana Court of Appeal then dismissed the government's appeal. So yes, we did get it, but it was not the easy way that perhaps once we've gotten it, we forget it. So that was kind of the background of the story. And I think more as a litigant, I want to agree with, in the interest of time, with what Danny, the previous speaker, was speaking to in terms of the communication strategy and community support. I think, yes, the money is important. Yes, the technical support is important. But I think these two are very, very important, not just to the running of the litigation or the case itself, but I think to the people who are part of it. And recently I said we have become, experts of law. We are experts of law, of constitutionality, of the courtroom processes, what should be done, what should we be doing, how should you behave when you're in court, who are trained to speak to the media, but very little is done to address the true cost of litigation, which is the litigants themselves, right? So, how do we navigate ourselves out of the courtroom when you're not in the courtroom, when you're not at a press conference, and you are at the bus rank or you are at your, town market or whatever, you're carrying on with your life? There's very little conversations around how we navigate that space as a litigant. And I think in my experience, and I say communication strategy and community support. I know Lehabibo at the time with Salk and our lawyer, there was a communication strategy that was put in place of how do we speak, who should speak to the media, how and what do we say, and then of course the community support. And I think community support is very, very critical. And I can speak to that a bit later, but community support is very, very critical because as a litigant, yes, you're making a decision on yourself to do this, to carry this cross. But the truth of the matter is you're carrying it not just for yourself, but you're carrying it for other people. And so the community, for me, it's important that the community understand that. So that later we have been asked by the community, who asked you to carry the cross for me? I didn't ask you. I was perfectly fine, right? So I think that community support and of course the communication strategy is important, that we're all aligned and we all understand what is the importance of this, what is the benefit of this, and beyond the court case. So in my experience, I think we had done that at Lehabibo. There was a communication strategy. There was a level of community support that existed, and that allowed the litigants to run through with that. But I vividly want to share an experience that happened while the court case was going through, or just at the beginning. On one day, there was a journalist in Botswana called Tefopai. I've met him recently and he has since, I guess, transformed and reformed. But at the beginning of the case, he had made writing about the case in a very negative way something more like his brand. So one day we woke up and they had written about Anna Chalmers, who was the director of Lehabu at the time. They had written about some of the litigants, Tutaram Moha, myself, Chris Bareki, and a number of people. And news traveled so quickly. Our names and faces ran through homes and churches and combis and taxis. But the critical question were, who are these people and whose children are these? Ke bana ba kgamang? And they were not necessarily asking who our parents were, but they were asking and questioning how we were raised. How dare we? How dare we refuse to be silenced? How dare we refuse to be ashamed and embarrassed at a time when being an activist for these things was not, we're in a country that had not decided if they wanted to celebrate our bravery or not. And I remember that affected so many of us in our families. And while we had proper training in terms of dealing with the media and dealing in court and what to do and what not to do, we were not trained on how to explain that to our families. We're not trained on how to explain that to our employers, those who didn't work in the movement, because there were others who didn't work in the movement. So I think for me that was an important part, that the learning and the community and the communication structure needs to move across from pre through the process and after. And really, I think critically, we're at a time where we need to center the litigant beyond the case, because it's already a hard thing. You are seeing your identity being argued in court as a legal argument, and the courts will reduce it to, a legal argument and not much about who you are and what you have to survive out of that. So I think our community strategies, as a lessons learned, is that our community strategies and our communication strategies need to center how people navigate those spaces. And after the case, because in my way there isn't much time, after the case, I remember a number of us tried applying for jobs where, it was just this new thing of you must Google the people. I know one of the litigants, Chris Bareki, struggled a lot with getting employment in the corporate sector because, you are risky to the brand. And the sad thing about that kind of homophobia or discrimination that comes with having been a litigant is that it's very silent and it comes in very very nice business language. It says, you're not a feet alignment, you're not aligning to the business. But a lot of people after litigation do lose their employment, or, have a difficult time accessing in employment spaces. So I think those are lessons that I have heard. And I think for myself, one of the biggest thing was a community that supported me, family. Um, my family supported me through the whole process and after, and I know it's a privilege that many people in Botswana and many African countries do not have, but that's what supported me to be able to go with the work that I did. And even now, when I'm not actively working in the movement, it's still those lessons learned that I carry, having been a litigant. And currently I work in a space of, I work in mining, but I work in diversity and inclusion. So even when I think about what does inclusion and diversity look like in the workplace, I kind of really dig down to my process and times as a litigant, and what I would have expected the kind of support from my employer. So I think, yeah, just to kind of tear brightly, I think the big thing currently is centering the litigant in the case. So it's not just about your name being there, and it's much more. It's about how you navigate family, how you navigate work, how you navigate your social spaces today and tomorrow, and knowing that this thing would always be with you. And I think we've seen situations where litigants 5 years later they disappear. You don't know where they are, and we just hear, "Oh no, he passed away." Oh no, he left the country. So maybe we need to also rethink about our support beyond the litigation. How do we support litigants as they navigate and reintroduce themselves into life? And I think, in conclusion, something that Denny said is that another thing is that we, after litigation, and it might be just frustrating to the litigant, is that you realize that victory doesn't equal healing. Victory doesn't equal transformation, because yes, you have won the litigation, you became victorious over the litigation, but it doesn't solve what the process did to you. It doesn't change transformation. It doesn't transform societal norms or societal attitudes. So you ask yourself, why was my head on the line? What was I dying for? What was I carrying the cross for? But I think, of course, those conversations of how we move beyond that helps us to be able to be part of this, because we do need to constantly be part of the litigation process. It's an important process. It needs the human face, but I think we need to center it using the lessons learned and the experiences such as these ones. I'll end here. Thank you so much, Bradley.
Thank you very much, Ratnang, for those feedback. Quite insightful, and just like a few takeaways, based on what you said. I really love what you said also about how we really need to center the experiences of the litigant, and that being a litigant is not just about us, but it's about our families. How they impact, how the whole process impacts our families. How do we explain the cases to our brothers, our mothers, our sisters, and employment also, because that's a big thing. I think with the Botswana experience, I stand correct, but I think a lot of the litigants were pretty young also, and there was that yearning for wanting to be a part of the change, and but we didn't really have a full understanding of life beyond litigation. Like you said, the experiences on how it for some people it was hard to even get in employment in that whole process. Yeah, so thank you very, very much. I think also just one more thing also that you had mentioned also is how victory does not equate to healing, and I kind of seeing this also bridging down from our colleagues in Namibia, and how there really needs to be like a thorough, all-rounded support for litigants, for families, and how do we continue to be there for litigants? Is there a need? Is there not a need? And so forth. So thank you very much for your experiences, Pratanang. We shall head over now to Eswatini, where we will bring in Melusi Simelani, who is a human rights activist and a strategic litigation specialist at the forefront of advancing civil and political rights in Southern Africa. He serves as the he serves as the Civic Rights Programs Manager at the Southern Africa Litigation Center, where he leads regional efforts to defend freedom of expression, assembly, and association, and to challenge the unjust criminalization and over regulation. As the founder and board chairperson of the Eswatini Sexual and Gender Minorities ESGM, which is the country's first LGBT, which is the country's first membership based LGBTI organization. He spearheaded Eswatini's first Pride in 2018 and as lead litigant drove the landmark registration case against the registrar of companies, culminating in the Supreme Court of Eswatini's unanimous 2023 ruling that the refusal to register ESGM was unconstitutional. His continued litigation through Eswatini's courts has made him one of the region's most experienced voices on what it is to take on what it is to on what it takes to sustain a legal battle, strategic preparation, resilience through protracted proceedings, managing legal costs, and building effective collaborative partnerships with legal teams. Melusi holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Marketing from the University of Eswatini and is an alumnus of the Obama Foundation Scholars Program at Columbia University in New York City and was selected for the US State Department's International Visitors Leadership Program. He is currently a Chevening Scholar, completing an MA in International Relations at the University of Sussex. His work consistently places lived human experiences at the center of justice movements across Africa. Welcome, Mr. Simelani. Thank you so much for taking time out to come and share your experiences on your litigation journey in Southern Africa and lessons learned. If I'm not mistaken, I think you mentioned you had a presentation, so I just wanted to double check if you are able to share it. But as you get ready for that, so Melusi will also just share his experiences on strategic preparation and how litigants need to prepare for the rigorous that legal process and strategies that have proven successful in Eswatini's jurisdiction. And from his experience, he will also share his litigation journey, some insights around communication, collaboration, but importantly as well on understanding the client-lawyer relationship and understanding the cost and becoming an active partner in our cases. Welcome, Mels. Over to you. And we can see your presentation. Yes, I hope everyone else can as well. I'm not sure if you are. Oh, yes. Sorry, just give us 1 second to just unmute you. Yeah.
Well, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, perfect. Good morning, and thank you. I suppose good afternoon back home. And thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I was just thinking, wait, is that still my CV, or you've now like started talking about other people in the region? But thank you very much for that warm welcome. It's really a pleasure to address you all this afternoon. And I think also I build on the significant contributions that's been made by the previous speakers, particularly the point that litigation can really take a toll, but not just on the litigants themselves, but the community that those litigants will often be representing. And I think also the question around jurisprudence being important in the other countries, I think we must also go back to the point that that jurisdiction must not just be the one thing that we're trying to copy, but also the approaches in terms of working with communities and how we're engaging as communities that are trying to achieve whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. But without wasting any time, I will try to stick to the 10 minutes that's been allocated to me. I've been requested to address these four issues, the communication and collaboration, the understanding of the lawyer-client relationship, understanding the costs, importantly, the costs, because I think oftentimes we forget about the cost, not just the financial cost, but also the emotional toll, which I believe the first speaker, Daniel, was talking about, the emotional toll. But I will focus on the money side and also becoming an active player. So number one, I will start with the communication side of things. I think picture these two arrows, which is you, the community, you, the litigant, and what you are trying to contribute in this litigation and what it is that you are trying to contribute or you should contribute should be the facts in terms of what is happening in a community, what you're going through, should be the documentation, which is why the Southern Africa Litigation Center will often be talking about make sure that you are documenting, and we often do these trainings of our community members to make sure that they're documenting the instances that they're going through, but importantly, the changes that you are trying to achieve and the questions that you are trying to ask. And then on the lawyer side, it will obviously be the legal expertise, the strategy, the timeline, and the risk. And when these two arrows stop, it's often when the case slows down. So I have these four sort of simple rules that I think might be applicable for anyone who is trying to litigate, who is in litigation, and who is perhaps looking at doing litigation in the future. And the first one is that you must agree on the rules at the very first day. You must agree in terms of what channel you are going to be using to communicate, how often you are going to be communicating. Because most of the time, the breakdowns will not only happen in court, but they will happen because there was a misunderstanding between you and the lawyer and the expectations in terms of the silence. And I think I've dealt with situations where you would be WhatsApping a lawyer or the lawyer will be WhatsApping you back and the other one is thinking, well, that's important information. You should have sent it on email and vice versa. So it's important that you agree on those rules of conduct. And the second one is that you must tell the whole truth very early. You know, a lawyer can manage any facts as they know and be and should not be ambushed by the facts that they do not know. So it's important that you sort of put the story as clearly as possible so that the lawyer, when they give you these expert advice, this legal advice, they know exactly how to deal with them and they're not ambushed in court. And I think the third one is to confirm the key decisions in writing. A short email after each conversation protects you both. What was the agreement? This is what you said you would be filing. This is when you were expecting a hearing from court. And I think this also speaks to that very first rule of the agreement from day one. How are we going to keep track of our conversations and how we are going to work together? And the fourth one, ask until you understand. There's no sort of damage or jeopardy in asking if you do not understand. And I think the second speaker, the previous speaker who's just spoken, was talking about how we have sort of become experts ourselves in terms of how the law works. And it's true because we've worked with the law for so much as communities, we understand, but still we must also accept that the lawyers will almost always know more about the legal issues that need to be dealt with in court. And that is why you must constantly ask them. And if you can't explain the next step to a friend, you do not understand it yet. A question costs minutes, but confusion can really cost you quite more than you have to offer. And now to talk about the client-lawyer relationship, I think two overlapping circles here. You are the expert on your life, your risk, your community, your priorities, but the lawyer is the expert of the law, the procedures, the courtroom. This is something that I've already spoken to earlier, and neither replaces the other. The overlap is the strategy, which must be agreed together, the shared decision. So do claim your expertise, especially when strategy puts you and your community at risk. Use confidentiality. It exists so you can hold nothing back. Question strategy until you are satisfied, informed. Informed consent, not blind trust. You remember I said earlier that you must ask until you understand, and that forms part of the informed consent, not just blind trust. You can't just say, well, I trust lawyer X or I trust lawyer Y. You must constantly push them. You must constantly ask them questions and expect slow courts. I think this has already been covered by the two colleagues who have said that the court process can be very slow, and silence usually means waiting, not neglect. And it's important that we understand that. And don't self-litigate, unadvised statements to the media or the other side sinks cases. And this speaks to the issue around how do we speak to the media. Don't filter facts to look good. You don't bring your own legal, you don't, you'd not, you'd be preferring your own lawyer against yourself. So it's important that the issues that you're discussing with your lawyer are the same issues that you're discussing with the media. But before you get to the media, you must have this understanding in terms of what is important for the case for it to be discussed publicly. And, don't despair. An unreachable client is the commonest reason cases stall anyway. Sometimes we try to reach out to a partner that we're working with on a case and they're not answering their phone, they're not answering their emails, and then the lawyer has to make up decisions of their own. And I think that becomes a problem mostly for the strategy of the case. And when it comes to understanding the legal cause, I think this is a big one, which oftentimes people forget about. And I think the conversation litigants avoid until it's a crisis is the question of cause. Now, picture a state case. There's the consultation, there's the filing, there's the hearing, there's the adjournments, there's the appeal. Most people budget only for the first step. In fact, most people will budget for, I'm going to talk to the lawyer. This is the issue. This is what I want. I want registration, and therefore this is all that must happen. But it's important that we understand all of these issues clearly. 5 questions before any work begins. How are you charging me? And it gets in writing. What is not included? The court fees, the experts, the transcripts, the travel. What makes this cost more? Like what would make it escalate, the adjournments, the extra filings, the appeals, and so forth. You need to ask your lawyer about this so that you can flag them in advance. And what happens if we lose? In many jurisdictions, the loser pays the winner's costs. So you need to know your exposure. And I think we've dealt with a similar case in the region where they lost at the High Court. And then, when we were supposed to go to appeal, now the litigant was afraid because they were slapped with a court order. It's important that you discuss these issues with your lawyer in advance. And what support exists. We've got organizations like SALC, which are always going to be happy to help, but it's important that you have the conversation at the very beginning, not just with your lawyer, but with those organizations like SALC that are going to help you. And having that conversation early usually saves the relationship, and it also means that you are going to have a powerful case moving forward. And I think lastly, it's the question of becoming an active partner. Becoming an active partner usually comes with these 6 habits that I have. And before you file, you need to keep your own file. Memory on its own is not a filing system. And I know this because as a young activist growing up, I used to remember these things like that. And I think, I have something called eidetic memory. So I often will remember things as they were. I'll remember the date or remember what someone said. But it doesn't help in the case because that's only in my memory bank. It's not on paper. It's not recorded. So it's important that you keep these things down. Never sign, settle, or swear what you can't explain in your own words. And I think this also speaks to the question I raised earlier about whether or not you are able to explain your case to a friend. And if you cannot explain it to a friend, then you still do not understand what is going on. And while the case runs, show up prepared. Come with written questions and ordered documents. 10 or 15 minute meeting into a productive one. I think my colleagues would know I usually do not like meetings that have got no agenda, no structure. And I think it's important when you're having meetings with lawyers, and particularly lawyers, because lawyers often charge by an hour. Yes, we're able to have organizations like ourselves, the Southern Africa Litigation Center, that will cover the cost. But, coming into a meeting with the lawyer and you're unprepared, you're unsure of what's happening, it usually creates these problems. So it's important that you come prepared and the reports changes immediately. New threats, new evidence, new addresses, all of these things as they happen, you need to be documenting, you need to be communicating it with everyone. And for the long haul, you need to protect your well-being. And I won't spend much on this because it's already been touched. Litigation is a marathon, and a bent-out litigant makes poor decisions. And respect the partnership. A lawyer is not a service you order, so you need to make sure that you are working together. And your lawyer wins the legal arguments, yes, but you win the case by staying in it, being informed, being organized, and being present until the end. So I think those are the sort of quick steps that I thought I would share with you in terms of how you can make sure that you are contributing to your litigation and you are not just a bystander, but you're an active partner in ensuring that the litigation is a success, not just for you, but also for the community that we often represent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mels. Great presentation. I think if possible, you can also share it with participants, or you can just share it with us, and then we'll share it with them. But great insights on how we must actually engage with our lawyers, our legal representatives. Few pointers that I noted down. Ensure that there are agreements between the parties, that it's written down, everyone knows what is in these agreements, and every point is explained, so that tomorrow you don't when the lawyer comes to you with a certain clause or something, you don't act, or not act shocked, like you're not shocked, and because it would be in the agreement. Always be honest, open, transparent about the facts of the case, to the lawyers as well. I think honesty is important, and it's also important for your lawyer, your legal representatives, to be fully transparent with you as well. And importantly, confirm everything on paper and writing. I think that's a great point. It's one thing to have like a verbal agreement, a handshake agreement, but ensure that everything is written down. If it's on email, if it's on a notebook of some sort, ensure that you document everything and have your own file while we edit. If it's like, when did you have a consultation with your lawyer, your legal representative, and so forth. Ensure that all these things are noted down. What was said, how long was a meeting, a discussion, and so forth, right? And understand the processes. I always say there's no such thing as a stupid question, and I live by that. If I'm in doubt of something I don't understand, I will just ask. So whatever it is, as a litigant, as community members, anyone who's interested in pursuing litigation, there's no such thing as a stupid question that you can ask your lawyer or legal team. And yeah, but above all, the expenses of litigation. I think that's important for everyone to understand, how costly the whole process is, because it doesn't happen overnight. That's one thing we need to be realistic about. Litigation, like the change that happens, does not happen overnight, but it's a long process. And with that long process, we would have engaged the lawyer, every consultation, every meeting, every strategy planning meeting. Those are bills that are coming. So, which goes back to the point that Danny mentioned also earlier, around having connections, creating collaborations, partners that can lead you also to resources, to funding, to help support your cause as well. Yeah. So thank you very much, Mel. And remember, if anyone has questions, comments, please put them in the chat box. And just to remind people who folks who joined, that we do have Portuguese translations happening, interpretation happening. So if you are interested, please click on the little world icon down on your Zoom, and just click on the Portuguese interpretation. I will now bring in our final speaker, all the way from Malawi. And thank you so much, Juma, for representing Nyasa Rainbow Alliance last minute. our colleague Eric sends his apologies, but Juma has willfully offered to step in and share his experiences around the NRA case. Juma works for Nyasa Rainbow Alliance as the administration manager, and an organization that he also co-founded. He's one of the leading activists on strategic litigation, particularly the registration case of NRA that we embarked since 2017. Juma also brings a vast experience on community organizing and is here today to also just share with us the lessons learned from the NRA registration case, how they dealt with the delays that they have experienced with the case in Malawi, issues around potential litigation fatigue. We have been talking about how long strategic litigation is. How do you deal with litigation fatigue within the organization, within the community, as litigants also, and also talking about sharing about the psychological toll of the legal battles on litigants on our personal lives. Just an apology, we didn't have Juma's profile because it's a last minute swap, and we hope that is okay, Juma. Our apologies for that, but welcome. I think we need to unmute Juma. Just give us 1 second to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we can hear you. Hi, Juma.
Hi, Bradley. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. Just Eric told me like an hour ago, but it's fine. Thank you so much. As Bradley said, I work for Nyasa Rainbow Alliance as administration manager. Yeah. So for us, particularly to the subject in discussion, litigation hasn't been an easy form, especially starting from how we started as an LGBTIQ-led institution in Malawi, dating way back in 2013. So we wanted to register the organization using clear objectives to what we are going to be doing. So we stated in the articles of association that we are an LGBTIQ organization with clearly highlighted objectives. Unfortunately, they turned down our registration, and then of course, which is an outcome which is quite obvious, because we knew by then, even up to now, the political and the social landscape isn't quite well. So then we took this decision, challenging, because they explicitly said that the objectives which we wrote are quite in sharp contrast with what is highlighted in the Constitution of Malawi. So we brought them to court seeking interpretation of the said institutions, because in interpretation of the said sections, because for us it was more of wanting a freedom of association, not necessarily what they were saying that we are promoting actions that are illegal under the Constitution. So for us, with this, I mean, the case hasn't seen the light of the day since 2017. It's been dragging in and out of the court. We were only given audience 2 times. So yeah, that's the current state. Apparently, we're just waiting for maybe communication from the courts on how we are going to go by. Yeah, but we are all ready. So for us, the legislation case has also demonstrated that strategic litigation is a long-term advocacy tool rather than a quick solution. It's not kind of a marathon that you can just start and then you see the immediate outcomes, because it takes time. It takes a lot of engagements, community mobilization. We have to engage all relevant stakeholders that might help towards the litigation. And also knowing that Malawi is one of the countries that have really pre-colonial and brutal status towards LGBTIQ, then it needs more of engagement, because more and more people, they don't even know what it means to be an LGBTIQ. So we have also noticed that keeping organizations and communities engaged requires consistent communication, shared ownership of processes, celebrating even the small milestones that we are registering. So one of an example of this was in 2020, like 3 years ago, yes, we engaged the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, because this was also one of the recommendations that was made uh, after the High Court ruling that ruled against our favor when we were also litigating for another case, which was Jana Gonani case, Jana Gonani versus the state, in which a transgender person was convicted, arrested for simply being involved in same-sex conduct. So I won't do much on that judgment, but I'll just quickly highlight on one of the recommendations that were made by the courts. The courts also informed us that if we want the laws changed, the laws that criminalize same-sex relations in Malawi, we should also engage the parliament through the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. So we engaged them, and then we told them our issues. These are our issues. We do not necessarily need special recognition or special rights, which is contrary to what more and more people are saying. But we're just demanding protection. We are demanding to enjoy rights that are enjoyed by everyone else. Yeah, and fortunately, this was a successful also, because we made partnership with the Legal Affairs Committee, and currently Nyasarin Balance, we're also planning to involve other committees of parliament, such as the Education Committee, the Health Committee, because we also know that they are one of the important stakeholders that have the potential to support our cause. So you can see during the course of our advocacy, during this litigation process, there are a lot of issues that we have also encountered as an organization, as well as us as activists that have been on the forefront of these two issues: the registration case as well as the decree one. So, and to the extent that I'll start first mentioning how it has impacted the community. The community has quite been severely impacted, and so to the extent that some of them reached out to us. Why did you commence on the registration case? Why did you commence on this? Because it has exposed us. Look now, I mean, we are being disowned by our families. Some of us have been fired from work just because they are saying you are now the guys that are on the forefront challenging the laws that are existing already in the constitution. Why would you do that? So we have also exposed the communities. And above all, we have also been heavily impacted as the activists that have been on the forefront of this strategic litigation. Some of us have said we had to move out of the city. We had to be outside Blantyre, outside the seat of our operations, just because we used to receive a lot of threats against us, threats against our families. Some of us has to be very careful in using our own cars. We can't just go on the street because everybody knew that we are on the forefront of the registration case of Nyasarin Balance. That to them, they were translating that seeks to legitimize same-sex relations, and Malawi isn't ready for this. Why are they on the forefront? With all this. So the whole process has really been quite emotionally draining, and we have learned a lot of issues. We have also known like the importance of collaboration. How do we engage other stakeholders? How do we, because this litigation course cannot just be fought alone. You need partners, regional partners, domestic partners to go towards this strategic litigation. Thank you so much. Thanks for the audience.
Thank you so much, Juma, and thank you for once again for stepping in. And you're right. I think one of the cases that we have, is that we have had for the longest, and probably because of delays, which is also because of a lot of other factors, is the NRA registration case. And you're right, there needs to be shared ownership of the process between communities, between everyone, which also links to what Unkokame said, also about ensuring that everyone needs to be on board. We need to have buy-in of people that are affected, people that are going to be affected, or at least have a consensus on what we are doing, what we are challenging, and how we are going about this also. And yeah, and ensuring that, I mean, it's heartbreaking also to hear that. Also, in Malawi, part of the effects also has been that people have been disowned by families, by communities. Safety was a big issue for litigants, because people are at the forefront of the case, at the forefront of demanding, of requesting. I don't know if requesting is a proper word, but demanding equal rights, for minority groups. And yeah, so that's also like another thing that I'm taking, that we need to be aware of in terms of the threats that do come out, the safety of litigants, the safety of the families of the litigants, the safeties of people that we live with in a society. Yeah, so thank you very much, Juma. I think, and to all our discussants as well. Just to check if we have any questions, comments in the chat box, on Zoom, on Facebook. Maybe my colleagues can help check for me. Or if there's anyone that would like to ask a question or share a comment, you can always just raise your hand and then we'll unmute you. Anything in the chat, Melo? Or if we have any comments, you can just raise your hand. I see we have Peter, whose hand is raised. We'll just unmute you now, Peter. Yes.
Yeah.
You're audible now.
Yeah, thank you. I just have a comment. The presentations were very good, and what I like about them is that they're giving the practical reality about strategic litigation. So many individuals get into strategic litigation not knowing what they're heading into. So they get in with so much expectations about the cases being won, and sometimes even it's not about winning the case. So it's sometimes also just about sending the message, but also in terms of the managing the expectations. So individuals must also know that cases take a long time. Sometimes they might take 2, 3, 5 years. There's the stage of filing the case. After filing the case also comes the issue of preliminary objections. And then there's also appeals. There are revisions, there are reviews. So it can take almost 5 to 10 years. So lawyers must always ensure that they give this perspective. And about the issue of costs, I just wanted to comment on it because, for instance, in Tanzania, the public interest cases usually do not attract costs unless they're deemed to be frivolous and vexatious. And that means you basically don't have any claim. You're just being a busybody before the court. But rarely does that happen. So I think it's also a question of jurisdiction to jurisdiction. But in Tanzania, public interest cases are usually free of any costs. Yes, so that was just what I wanted to contribute about.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Peter. And you're right. The cases that do matter in terms of challenging constitutional provisions, ensuring that human rights standards of the country is up to par and everyone is treated equally. All these cases, there's been hardly any funding for it, but we have to make it work. Oh, sorry, that was Juma's alarm. Yeah, but we somehow managed to make it work, and I think that's also where all the strategies that all the speakers have been talking, if it's issues around how do we package our arguments, how do we communicate with different stakeholders, if it's the police, if it's our parents, our families, our communities, anyone that is interested and needs to understand the case. What sort of messaging are we putting out there? And how do people connect also to these cases? I think one thing that is important also, and what we've learned also at SALC is our cases don't only affect one particular group of people, but somehow it affects everyone because all our rights are somehow interlinked. There is that intersectionality of rights that we do see. So one win for one marginalized group is a win for another as well. And we've seen cases, especially with the Botswana some cases in Botswana, I think it's the registration case and the decrim cases, and have been used also by other groups across the region, especially South and Eastern Africa, to also help seek to advance their fundamental rights. I think in the absence of questions, I'll also just maybe let the discussants prepare for one final word. But as they do that, I think there's one or two comments in the chat box, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes.
We do have a question from Chris, and the question is, in the litigants' experience, was there anything that came to light in the media that they wished had been kept private? Or what kinds of ways did the media cross their boundaries beyond what was needed for the case?
Excellent question there, actually. Is there anyone from our discussants that would like to tackle that one? I think just to repeat, in the litigants' experience, was there anything that came to light in the media that you, as the litigant or fellow litigants, also wished that they would have kept private, or what kinds of ways did the media cross their boundaries? Daniel, yeah, your hand is up.
Hi, Brad. I'm just going to attempt. I think I did sort of address this. I think, a lot of the details will come out. You can't help it a lot. But in my case, I think issues surrounding our kid, I found that very uncomfortable. Issues around like addresses, you would find media reportings and they would mention your address. I've found that a big red flag as well. But the biggest one for me was just given how children are protected under the law in many of our jurisdictions, I think reporters ought to have known better than asking a child under like immense pressure in court setting, cornering your kid and asking him questions that his brain can't even actually fathom. He probably didn't even know what was going on. I think that for me was the biggest issue. But other than that, I always feel like things will come out. It's just being better prepared to handle the things that come out. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well said, shared, Danny. To be better prepared. There's a hand raised by Adam. I don't see it now.
Oh, hello. My name is Adam Wenyimo from Zimbabwe. So the issue with media, I think in Zimbabwe, is that the media in Zimbabwe want to push a certain narrative, and sometimes when they write the articles, they write it from a misplaced perspective, and they'll be making legal comments when they actually are wrong at law. So sometimes it's damaging to the public, because remember, yes, we might have this case in court, but we also have the court of public opinion. So if the press now reports it from a incorrect legal position, it then tarnishes the whole case from the court of legal opinion, because yes, we might win the case in court, but the court of legal opinion also has some kind of significant value in our society nowadays. So we have to balance that. As much as on paper and legally we have won the case, but also the court of legal opinion also has to be won, because we have to enforce those rights that we've acquired from that case into the public. So that is the other challenge that is faced, especially in Zimbabwe, whereby the press just writes whatever they feel, and it will be completely incorrect when you then check with the law. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very much correct, Adam. Thank you so much for your contribution. This,
I can't find my hand. I've
yes,
been trying to
yes.
raise my hand. I can't find it. Hi, thanks, Bradley. I think for me, the first and most important thing to understand is that media X coming to us out of what is presented in court is essentially very invasive, okay? Because they have the documents in court at this juncture that public information, public information, everyone has access to them. I don't think there's any way to prepare yourself for that kind of invasion that comes with the media. Because they never really want to come and check how you're dealing with this. They want to sell papers. They want to sensationalize the realities of our people, and this is why I think, as part of a community strategy, and I can't remember if we had this at Lehabibo or not, is that when I think maybe we had it, they, there was an introduction of journalism, where we would be able to tell our stories and have people that we know have trained and people who have our interest to tell our stories, because mainstream media will write what will sell. I can tell you for sure they're not writing a positive, honest article that would bring people to understand our issues, but they would always write what they sell. So what we had, I can't remember if it was the registration case or the decrim case in Botswana, but we had, where we had people within the community writing, progressively writing positively about the journeys and the stories. We had parents come out, PFLAG, the parents, friends of lesbians and gays. We had them come speak out as parents. We had pastors. So there was a whole communication strategy that isn't necessarily fighting against the narrative, but we are building our narrative on the side, to get what we wanted to be on. So I think that's one thing that a lot of people could work on. The second thing is that I don't think when we decide to be litigants, the most important, the one thing you think about is, I want to be able to be part of a regime that changes laws, or a team that changes laws, or that changes the status quo. Very little do you think these people are going to now start asking, whose child are you? We are African. It goes be, you are not your own. You're not of your own. They're now asking, who's your father, who's your mother, now your aunties and her colleagues, and this. So I think those are the conversations that, as we know better now, we engage with our litigants to think beyond just the case and wanting to change the laws, but who are the people around you, and how will they be affected by the stance that you're taking. So yeah, anyway, I just thought I should throw that in. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. O. Adam, I don't know if that's the new hand, but just double checking. Was that a new hand, Adam?
Yes, thank you, Hand. Sorry.
Okay.
There's one thing I'd forgotten also. It's not about the issue of media, but I think when you're talking about strategic litigation, sometimes we are, as we're dealing with rights, we are dealing with people as well, and these are people who have had their rights um, affected, or they're being affected continuously. But what I wanted to say was that maybe from the other perspective of the litigant being represented, when you have your own matter, you are emotionally attached to your case. And sometimes, I mean, the reason why you go to a lawyer is because you want to be represented. The case is still yours. I think it was also mentioned, but the lawyer also has the legal expertise, and allow him or allow them to use their legal expertise. Sometimes, as a litigant, you might want a different approach, or you might want some kind of argument to be pushed, but it is not sound at law. And you have to, I think it was said, trust the process and trust the lawyer. You have picked the lawyer because maybe you know that they have experience, you know that they are good at their job. So we also need to give them time to if they say no, this won't work, this strategy won't work, let's allow them to tell us and to lead the case, because they are not emotionally invested, so they're able to give an objective view of the case. And I think that the problem might be, if you're a litigant and you're a lawyer, sometimes you think you know, but when you instruct, it's because also that same issue, that this is your case, you're emotionally invested, you need someone to give you another point of view which is objective. So let's let's not get let's not let our emotions get into the way of the strategy and of the work that is about to be done. But let us allow the legal experts to actually do their work, and let's support them in the way that we should. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam. I'm just looking at the time. I know I said I'll give our discussants one last go, but I think just if you will allow me to end the webinar and do a summary on behalf of all of us, and just taking a leave from what Adam just said now, that in no way also are we trying to discourage people from taking cases forward, from seeking access to justice, to recourse, to be litigants. But it's from our experience as SALC and have supported litigants, whether through individuals or communities or CSOs. So much has been learned, and it's about sharing what we have experienced, what we know with individuals. So a big thank you to all the litigants, Mr. O, Mels, Juma, Danny, for sharing your experiences as litigants, and letting us into a piece of or into a piece of what was your part of your life's journey, and so forth. I'm a bit hungry, so my train of thought is going away. But yeah, so in that breath, I think just to note also, this was a part one of, I think, a part of a part two or three series of webinars that we will do. The next webinars will still be focused on hearing the voices of litigants, and how we've survived, and the strategies that we have adopted as well. But this time we will hear through the voices of CSOs from across the region that have been litigants, that have supported litigation, and that are also currently going through litigation processes. Because it's not only individuals that can be litigants, but organizations as well. So the next webinar will focus on that, and we will share more updates on SALC's social media pages and invite you as well. But yeah, I think in that wavelength, once again, thank you to everyone for taking the hour and a half out to come and be with us. And thank you to our litigants once again. See you in the next webinar, everyone. Bye.